What up? It's Grandpa coming at you once again with some more information. So, I want to talk about inside the NBA for a little bit because, the coverage for the All Star game was, uh, to be nice, a little bit below average, and I'm being nice. Um, they wanted to give themselves a celebration in between the game and they were it kind of like over it a little bit. The only two that was like on, well, Barkley was doing his normal stuff. Shaq was like basically, I don't I don't give it, I don't care, whatever. Um, Kenny, the consummate professional, um, and Ernie was professional too, to a point. But I think a lot has been lost with that show, and it's been happening for a long time. I mean, when they first hit the scene, early 2000s. I mean, that's where you went after the game, after the TNT game. You wanted to watch Inside the NBA because it was a lot of good information. It was some funny stuff. I mean, especially like once they hit they major groove with Chuck, Kenny, and Ernie. That was like the heyday of Inside the NBA. I mean, they were funny. Uh, you know, Barkley was the All Star that didn't win. He was constantly getting uh, poked about it. You know what I'm saying? He was a good sport. Kenny Smith won too. They had a lot of battles against the Rock. I mean, they had a few battles in the Rock. For Rockets when he played for the Rockets. Then when they played for the Suns, it was it was a respect thing. Ernie, his head wasn't as big back then, and I'm talking about his ego, because I mean his ego has grown along with Shaq, Kenny, and Barkley. Their egos have grown tremendously throughout the years, and it's been interesting to watch. So um, when it first started, it was Kenny and Ernie and Cheryl Miller, and then Reggie Theus was coming through. Like it was straight basketball talk back then. It was straight basketball talk. So then once they got Barkley, then they could incorporate the humor, and that was a great thing because Barkley is funny. He comes off the cuff a lot, so I mean, like, it worked. I think the first crack in inside the NBA's formula was letting Shaq come on. Now, before I jump into the reason why Shaq uh, was part of the reason, like, it was a period in there where it looked like they were interviewing. I mean, like, looking over a few people to come on with them. The first one that come to mind to me is Chris Webber. Chris Webber used to come on the show like right after he retired, and um, he was funny. He was funny, and he brought the brashness. Once he settled in, like, I'm just gonna say, hey, my man, C Webb, as a commentator, man, man. But when he was on the show, he was mad funny. I mean, like, I'm always remember the run through the tape skit, and then that's when Shaq had came on. I mean, Bogarted his way through, but like, that clip right there shows how funny Chris Webber was, and he had a lot better chemistry with Kenny and uh, Charles and Ernie. That he had, I think, in my opinion, he had better chemistry with that crew, and it helped him. But then when Shaq retired, he didn't want to leave. He didn't want people to forget him or whatever. For whatever reason, he jumped on the show. He bogarted his way onto the show, and that basically kicked Weber out of position where he he could have had a job. Now when Shaq first came on, it was the show that they had, giving tribute to him. It was like he was trying a little bit too hard, and that's Shaq's mo. When Shaq comes to whatever, like he gotta carve out his area, he gotta stake his claim, and that's whatever. That comes with different type of people. You gotta deal with it. So Shaq comes on there once he settled down. The he's funny. He's funny, but sometimes he gets a little bit too much. He don't know when to shut the water off, so to speak. So like as the years kept going through, and Shaq started, being more belligerent and more assertive with his place in the NBA universe, saying he's the most dominant, which that's not the case. He was the most unstoppable force that come through the NBA, mostly because of his size and strength and that. But then to be real about it, the NBA let him get away with a lot of offensive fouls. A lot of offensive fouls, hitting people in the face with the elbow. The a couple of plays come to mind with Shaq when you think about that. The time when he was playing for the Heat, and Kobe was on the Lakers with Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum was a young pup, and Shaq dunked on him tremendously. Then Bynum come down, post him up, dunks on him, and he hyped up, and Shaq was mad about that. You could clearly see that, and then he elbowed him, which like, come on, dog, like I get it, but come on now, dude. You try to embarrass him, then he embarrassed you. So like, just take your lick, keep it moving. Shaq in Orlando, like the whole thing against him and the Penny, like that he could have failed back then. Him and Penny could have fed off each other, but he had to be the big dog. Like Shaq has to be the big dog. Like that's just the way it is. And so like the years have been going by, and they give Shaq his own day on inside the NBA. It'd be him, Candace Parker, Dwayne. It was Dwayne Wade. It was Vince. It'd be Vince sometime, and Shaq is on there. Doing this thing. Oh, and another time with Shaq when he dunked on Chris Dudley when they played New York. Like it was funny, but at the same time, the referees let him get away with a lot. They played the Philadelphia 76ers, the Lakers against the Sixers in the finals. He destroyed the Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, he took. I think he took a couple of years off his career, but I mean, like, they was letting him do that. So, like, toward the end, though, he kept gaining weight. He kept getting, he was going from team to team. At the end, he went to Cleveland. That didn't work out. I had kind of like had high hopes, because I was like, if Shaq is in like 50%, that should be enough for LeBron. You know what I'm saying? But like, unfortunately, Shaq wasn't up to par. He was out of weight. He was overweight, and that was a sad thing. And then, Shaq goes out in Boston, acting like he got shot in the back. I'm just saying how it looked. It was sad to me. Like, I didn't want to see Shaq like that. But getting back to the point, Shaq has always been like that. He's always wanted to be the number one thing. So that's played out into the show, and some unnecessary things have been said to inflame current players, which I get. I get where they're coming from. I got where they was coming from, but at the same time, like, sometimes it was a little awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like the time with Donovan Mitchell, when he started first talking to when they first started talking to Joker. Like it's been different times where it's been like an uncomfortable situation with the interview, but like it just continued on, and But the big thing about the show, the reason why they get so much, really they can't be really messed with, is because they're the last part of the old NBA where it's not tied to ESPN, and ESPN has a hand in what they have to say and all that. So they're the last little part of the old school NBA, and that's the reason why they get as much rope as they got. But um, just wrapping it up, Inside the NBA was a great after game show. But I mean, like it's going away, and that's just how it is. So, just my thought on that. Peace out. Like and subscribe. Comment if you need.